Good afternoon. Today, it is my pleasure to be talking about the Screwtape Letters by C.S. Lewis. However, it is not an easy review to make because of the religious message in the book. Not that I find the religious message to be troubling. In fact, I find it to be uplifting, if not even heartwarming. It's just that I am not of a religious disposition. And so, let's just see what kind of review we make of this one. The Screwtape Letters are a collection of 31 letters written from the senior advising demon, Screwtape, to his lowly amateur demon. Like he if you can imagine, he is a demon fresh out of college, and he is just learning his demonic trade. And that trade is the ensnaring and capturing of human souls. So all we get are the 31 letters from Screwtape to his nephew, Wormwood, trying to advise and to correct and to educate, to corrupt the souls of mankind. The novel was published in 1942, and there is a strong feeling that the novel was written while the Second World War was taking place. Early on in the novel, Screwtape writes to his nephew that, "Oh yes, I see that the humans have started another one of their war has come to Europe once again." And he gives his advice on how war can be used to corrode the values of human beings. So these are the series of letters. It's Wormwood. He has some good fortune. He's happy because he feels that the human he is tasked with is being corrupted a little bit, and Screwtape congratulates him and warns him, well, yes, okay, you've made a few steps, but we always have to be wary of the enemy. God in this case, warns him that the important thing is to keep human beings distracted. And this book is a long meditation on the way that people are distracted and the way that their thinking takes shortcuts. The shortcuts tend to be of a cynical nature. Even that idea, cynicism, it's a very modern city sort of a feeling, right? To be a modern citizen of the big bad city, you have to be cynical in your very soul. That's a lot of S's. And these shortcuts and this cynicism that people adopt as a way of living their lives, that this demon is talking about how it is a corrupting influence on our thoughts, our humanity, and our sympathy and empathy with other people. There's a part in the book where Screwtape is very annoyed with his nephew because this candidate for hell has started going to church. And of course, this is a very bad sign. This is not a good step in the direction that these demons are hoping for. However, Screwtape says, well, yes, it is a bad step, but religion can be used to take steps in our direction. So when your man is praying and he's feeling very holy and he's feeling very proud of himself, make sure that you highlight that, how proud he is to be participating in his religion. And make sure that he looks around at the other people and he notices, oh, look at the old shoes on that one, and oh, look at her. She's been carrying around that purse for 20 years and she's so proud of herself. And make sure you have these little criticisms of the other people in the church, and that he feels, oh, I'm better than those people because, I'm dressed better and my religion is of a better quality than their religion, that I'm a real Christian and they are just going through the motions. So all of these pretensions, we are trying to lift ourselves up by pushing others down so as to seem more lofty in our own sense of self-esteem. Every letter, there is a little message of how to corrupt morality. In one of the earlier chapters, chapter 3, the third letter, my dear Wormwood, he is this man, he lives with his mother. When two humans have lived together for many years, it usually happens that each has tones of voice and expressions of face which are almost unendurably irritating to the other. Work on that. Bring fully into the consciousness of your patient that particular lift of his mother's eyebrows which he learned to dislike in the nursery, and let him think how much he dislikes it. Let him assume that she knows how annoying it is and does it to annoy. If you know your job, he will not notice the immense improbability of the assumption, and, of course, never let him suspect that he has tones and looks which similarly annoy her. As he cannot see or hear himself, this is easily managed. In civilized life, domestic hatred usually expresses itself by saying things which would appear quite harmless on paper, but in such a voice or at such a moment that they are not far short of a blow to the face. Your patient must demand that all his own utterances are to be taken at their face value and judged simply on the actual words, while at the same time judging all of his mother's utterances with the fullest and most oversensitive interpretation of the tone and the context and the suspected intention. She must be encouraged to do the same to him. Hence, from every quarrel, they can both go away convinced, or very nearly convinced, that they are quite innocent. You know that kind of thing. I simply ask her what time dinner will be, and she flies into a temper. Once this habit is well established, you have the delightful situation of a human saying things with the express purpose of offending, and yet having a grievance when the offense is taken. Why do you always have to say it like that? Can't you be nice? Don't talk to me like that. So, this short book is a meditation on how to be a better Christian. I am not a Christian, but I am not anti-Christian either. I feel that whatever gives someone strength is all to the good. Anything that makes someone more sympathetic, perhaps even strive to improve society, I think that is all wonderful, and I do not disparage where it comes from. And I do not wish to try to argue with a religious person, say, oh, it's all just a big superstition and you're wasting your time with that. No, I don't feel that. I feel that is a sort of a childish thing to do, to try to take away somebody's strength and beliefs. If you're religious and it makes you happy and you feel that it makes you a better person, so much the better. How do I feel about this book? Well, I love it in the way that, though I don't necessarily need to take the religious message on how to be a better Christian, the psychology of how we think, oftentimes our very selfish nature. There does come a point in maturity and in our development where hopefully we can escape from our more childish, selfish nature, hoarding our goods and being ungenerous. And even just in our thinking, that's what this book is all about, is to try to be more empathetic and be more broad-minded and be more generous when thinking about other people. Try to put yourself in their shoes. Don't be so quick to take offense, and perhaps wonder what is going on. Like, we are all very quick to take offense, I suppose. Try not to have those knee-jerk reactions to whatever people say and what they do and how they are dressed and the situation you're in. So I strongly recommend it. If you are of a religious nature, I think it will be particularly insightful. And if you're not of a religious nature, but you are interested in psychology and perhaps just opening up your mind a little bit, you might find something in the book where you say, oh yeah, I do that. There was a bit of a moment for me where I realized that some time ago when I was younger, I didn't really acknowledge the older employees at the school where I was working. I just kind of, gave them a nod and looked away. And now I am at university again. I'm a student, and the students are the same with me. If they acknowledge me at all, most of the time it seems like they are strenuously avoiding eye contact. Even people I've spoken to and I know their names, like they look at me and they just quickly, God, it would hurt me to acknowledge that person's existence as a human being. I must not make eye contact because then I will be forced to nod and give that, stretched lip smile. Like, even that, they avoid, and it hurts me because that's all I require really, is that nod and that, very artificial smile. That's enough for me. But at the same time, it hurts me more because I know that I've done the same thing. That's all for today. I'll give you a little preview of what's coming up if you're still watching the video. Currently, I'm working on the very last of my 2022 TBR list. If you're interested in that list, I'll post a link to that video that I made just about a year ago about the top 10 books I wanted to read in 2022. I read 9 out of 10, and I'm currently working on the last one, which is Anna Karenina, 800 pages. It's big, but 25 pages a day. So I should be finished this in a month, and I am enjoying it so much that most often I don't even stop at 25 pages. I read more. Like, I started about a week ago, and I'm on page 250 because it's amazing. I'm working on that, and I want to get that read. Also on my list videos, which I really should concentrate on because people like those list videos, but it's just that, oh man, I am facing a hurdle with the next section of the list. There is a book that I remember, it was good, I enjoyed that book, but I just cannot remember an iota of what it was that made the book enjoyable for me. So I'm really stuck, and I'm grasping for that one. I've heard people talking about this new thing called Wikipedia. And so I might try to figure out what that is. If anybody knows anything about Wikipedia, just let me know, where to. I guess I have to go to the library to find it. So I'll go to the library later today and see if I can find something about this new pedia idea. Thank you very much for watching. This is Grant Loves Books, the Screwtape letters. By the way, dedicated to J.R.R. Tolkien. The letters are 3-4 pages. You can read a letter, think about the psychological implications, and who knows, maybe you'll end up being a better person for having read it. Take care. He finally succumbed. He finally gave in